What's up, world? You are in tune to Marvelous Talk, and of course, you got your usual suspects. What's up, Dame? Dame, how you doing today, man?
Man, doing wonderful, man. It's a great day. A lot of good things going on. So let's get it cracking.
And also, we got Big G, our resident comic book character. What's up, man?
Man, 7 days to counting. What if? Let's get it cracking.
What if? Let's get it cracking. And speaking of which, man, we're going to jump into some things and we're going to talk about what if. We're going to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. And we're going to get into some other things tonight. And of course, before we get into that, we're going to get into this. And man, we're here talking all things Marvel in the MCU. And man, let's just hop into it, man. What is going on with Spider-Man? What is going on, man? Can you give us some insight to what's going on with the delay on what's going on in Spider-Man? Dang, talk to us, man. Talk to us.
I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of it may have to do with COVID. Partly, I think some of it may do. There's a lot that's going to be riding on this film. I think it's going to be very important for them. This is Tom Holland's last official unless they re-sign it. This is his last go as Spider-Man under the contract between Sony and Marvel because it was a 6-picture deal. This is the 6th picture. So I don't know. We'll see. But I know that they have a lot riding on it, and they probably want to make sure they get everything right. I've heard rumors of a reshoot, some maybe reshoots that were done, or some production stuff that was kind of tightened up. So yeah, man, they just trying to make sure that whenever they deliver it, it's gonna be just. I mean, they want to hit us in our gut with it. I think that's what they want to hit us in our stomach and make us feel the impact of this movie. So that would be my hypothesis on it. But regardless, it's gonna be worth the wait when it comes out. I'm pretty sure about that.
Man, Big G, talk to me, man. What's your take on this delay?
Well, I mean, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Of course, Dame already mentioned COVID. So things are changing, or the ground is moving up underneath our feet. So we'll see how it comes out at the end of the day, as far as them being able to finish post-production. I know that they are doing re-scenes and reshoots with scenes, and there's spoilers of different characters that they're reshooting scenes with, including the Daredevil character from the Netflix program, as well as I've heard that Power Man possibly could be in the reshoot too. So they're talking about a lot of crossover information from a lot of different universes. However, I'll say this about Spider-Man, man. Now, of course, it was our first introduction to Spider-Man from the Fox series with the movies and whatnot. And then when Marvel took over, we never got the backdrop story of Spider-Man because they decided to go down a different path than what has already been shown to us in multiple renditions of that particular character. So I really truly believe that they do want to get it right, but it's also the anticipation. I mean, you got to remember, Kevin Feige had to sit these guys down and talk to them about, okay, these are the rules. And if they drop a Spider-Man trailer right now, it'll kill the momentum for Carnage, for Venom 2 Carnage. It'll eat up some of the momentum with the Eternals, and some of the momentum with possibly ShangChi. So, the television show What If is in 7 days. So I think, anticipation is what they're trying to do to make us feel like, hey, we're going to get the best movie. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited. I'm just hoping that we get a sight of a Miles Morales, man. If Miles Morales shows up in Spider-Man No Way Home, it's worth the wait for all of it, because he's the character that's going to carry Spider-Man moving forward.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree. One of the things that I'm thinking, this is my thoughts on, because everybody's wondering about a trailer. I think that they would probably, the wisest thing to me, because the next really big movie before Spider-Man No Way Home is Eternals. That would be the perfect place to give us a trailer at that point.
Agreed. I think what you and Big G said is really wise, right? You know, the reason why I say it's wise is you don't want to drop a Spider-Man trailer, right? And break up what you got with ShangChi. ShangChi, there's a lot of excitement. Kevin Feige's even excited about ShangChi. You know what I mean? Kevin Feige is, you know, this is his movie. He's definitely he's definitely saying to everyone that, hey man, this is the movie. I was excited about this. I wanted to do this movie a long time ago. And I'm going to tell you, I'm hype. I'm hype again. Like, you know, I didn't know how hype I am about, you know, seeing a martial arts creative movie inside of the MCU until I watched Snake Eyes. And then I was like, man, I need more of this. And I'm like, man, I know ShangChi is going to be all that I need, right? It's going to be all that I need as far as getting my martial arts fix and my Marvel fix at the same time. So anything to take away from that, I think would be unwise and be unsmart. And especially with these lawsuits that we got going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, because with these lawsuits, Marvel made promises on top of what they normally did, but nobody could foresee COVID. Yeah. Right? Nobody could foresee COVID at all, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure in my mind, this was my take, you guys. In my mind, one of the reasons why we're getting a delay on Spider-Man, if you ask me, is because of all of these lawsuits. You can't tell me that Tom Holland is not roped in and receiving some of the same money that Scarlett Johansson them were receiving. And you got this whole thing, people like, hey man, it's a lawsuit. I'm not making the money that I was supposed to make because of, you know, the Disney Plus. But man, I mean, at this point, you know, the way that the numbers have been going back up and everything's been going, you're gonna have Disney Plus releases all through the year, man. So
absolutely,
it is what it is at this point. I mean,
I think it's really a stupid argument when they bring up Disney Plus, because if you look at all of the movies that they released on their Premier Access thing that they do, Black Widow was the only one that they mentioned how much they made, and that was only week one, because they made 60 million. After that, they didn't say anything else about how, because that's the most they had ever made. Correct. And you go trip off of them making 60 million. So Disney is taking a hit too. But guess what? It's their project. Yeah, they own it. You don't. So it gets into greed, man. It's like, how much is not enough? You got actresses and actors worth 170, 180 million, and you're mad because you got 7? I mean, really? Yeah. So it gets down to greed to me.
Scarlett Johansson is like the highest paid Marvel character outside of Robert Downey Jr.
And she just burned that bridge.
Exactly. And so like her contract was really backloaded for this independent movie that they were supposed to have. You know, so and I think I know you guys know, because y'all know some things about the business. The issue is those actors, yeah, they got hundreds of millions of dollars, but they make big grip off those box office sales. Their percentages are so high that what they get off after they reach a certain point, and that's, I think, what Scarlett Johansson is fussing about. But I'm just going to be honest. Even if it was full wide open, I don't think that Black Widow would have done all like that as far as a box office smash anyway. Yep. I mean, I think one of the best things they did was pivot and put it on Disney Plus to give people opportunity, you know, to buy it for the little, you know, $39 or $29.99 that they had it for, and watch it, because it gave people the opportunity to see a movie that really was almost a year and a half too late, you know. Yeah, and I hope that Kevin Feige pivots moving forward, and he doesn't try to keep putting backstories into, you know, phase 2 and phase 3. You know, we're already there. So you got to start moving forward, because there's not a pivotal story remaining with any of those characters we really, really, really got to know.
No, you know, absolutely. Absolutely. And you figure, man, once again, you know, bringing in the whole Disney Plus thing, they're saying that, you know, that robbed them of the potential of the box office numbers. But think about it. Your average family of 4 going to the movies, what you pay for the access is what you would pay at the movie theater anyway. So
Absolutely.
it's a mute point to me. It's just, to me, it gets down to you being greedy in the fact where people have lost jobs. People don't, it's like you just got to deal with the situation. Like Ma said, we didn't see COVID coming. So you're gonna get mad because you're making money while other people don't have money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just my take on it, man.
Yeah.
But once again, Dame, I'm with you. It's one of the things where it's like you got to see that you're still making money. But I mean, shoot, what's better than one chicken dinner? 4 chicken dinners. So I mean, people feel like, hey man, I'm not getting my just due, and that's what that is. It's fine. But just like Big G said, you burnt your bridge, Scarlett. I don't think you're coming back. And we had already did away with your character, so there's really no way you're coming back.
There's no way home.
Thing. Yeah, I mean,
Black Widow,
out of here.
Black Widow, no way home.
Yeah,
yeah. They've already plugged. They've already plugged a new character. There's already got a person who can pick up the role. So I mean, come on, man.
Black Widow can't come home. That's what that is. That's what it is. She done been booted out. Booted out. And speaking of Spider-Man, so we do got this Carnage film. And why do we talk about it? It's not an MCU, Man, listen, you got to understand. One doesn't exist without the other. Who is Carnage?
Correct.
You have to understand that Carnage is an enemy of Spider-Man. So you can't have enemies of Spider-Man around, right? You can't have enemies of Spider-Man around and not have a Spider-Man. So this is really big, right? Dwayne Lacey said, I really liked her character. Well, you know what, Dwayne? I'm going to address that real quick, man. I loved her character too. I really did. Absolutely. I like Scarlett as an actor, right? I think if you watch previous versions of the Marvelish show with us, man, Dwayne, you'll see we thought she was the glue to the Avengers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we loved her character, but she really robbed herself of an opportunity to come back by just, hey man, listen, you earned a lot of money off these Marvel movies. Say you didn't. You know what I'm saying?
That's how she got her fortune.
Yeah, you made a lot of movies, a lot of money off the Marvel movies, and this one was one of those that where, hey man, I could just take a hit. I could take an L for this one just so I could come back and get it on the back end. Rewrite it in another contract. Oh, I know what happened on this last contract. You're not gonna get a chance to get me like you got me there. That's how you work that instead of, oh no, I'm suing you. Yeah, I'm suing you right now, and I'm getting that money back.
But that's why Feige won't sign long-term movie deals with any of these actors, man.
That's exactly why.
He's learning from experience. He's learning from experience. But like I said, the people don't understand from a comic book standpoint. There's been multiple renditions of the Black Widow. So yeah, we had a great actor as far as Scarlett Johansson. They couldn't have picked a better person. But I think moving forward, Feige's in position to where he's going to create a character and then backfill it with different actors. And I think she's not the first person that we're going to see these renditions happen where you have multiple different people showing up playing multiple different roles.
Yeah. Agreed. 110%. Now back to the Carnage part of this whole thing, right? Carnage is a natural enemy of Spider-Man. So definitely we had this trailer come up. We saw Woody Harrelson in the movie. I'm not sure that I like the storyline yet. I'm gonna have to get into it. I'm not sure that I like the storyline that much, but it looks like it's gonna be entertaining.
Listen. The storyline. The only spin I've seen so far is that they left the Venom character out of prison because see the backstory. Cassidy Clay is the Carnage, right? And him and the Venom were cellmates because they were locked. Well, not cellmates. They lived in cells right next to each other. And there was an issue to where the Venom sprued out of the guy's body and was able to go over and connect itself to Carnage, right? So now we saw in the trailer where he actually bit the guy And that's how his blood or the transfer of the symbiote went from one to another. So, I like the idea of it because I think they're really trying to make Venom still be one of those anti-heroes that could possibly turn good versus like making him all out evil. Because you can really tell from this movie, from the trailer, Carnage is something fierce, boy.
Mm-hmm.
They did an excellent job from the trailer, from what I saw, with the graphics, then giving you the rendition of the graphics book. Yeah,
the graphics
the
was
rendition
awesome.
of the comic book character of so far. They done what I've seen so far. I'll tell you this much. I go see Venom 2 Carnage before I go see Black Widow. I promise you that. Because what I've seen so far right now, this is gonna be a really good movie, man.
I think it's gonna be better than Black Widow myself. I honestly
Let me ask y'all this. Do you think it's gonna be better than the first Venom movie?
Possibly.
It actually almost looks like it could be. It does. It looks like it actually could be. First of all, the guy who plays Venom, Eddie, I forget his name.
Tom Hardy.
Tom
Hardy's a great actor, right?
Oh yeah.
And the straight comedy that he brings is comedy, but it's straight. That's hilarious. I'm laughing at a couple of the scenes already where he's like, "Come here, let me see you," and then he headbutts him. I'm like, oh, this is hilarious. Then he headbutted him again, and he's like, stop being such a wimp. You know what I'm saying? Basically, that's hilarious to me. So that play of them both, and using that humor inside of this seriousness, I think is going to be great. And then Woody Harrelson's a great actor.
Oh yeah,
he's a great actor. White man can't jump. Definitely Natural Born Killers.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of roles that were just like
Hunger Game movies.
Yeah, Hunger Games. He's a great actor. So this, I think, you putting him inside of here, you're gonna definitely see some good stuff out of him, and I think the movie's gonna be good. But which actually adds to the Spider-Man stuff to me, right?
So
you know what I'm saying? It's like if you put a Spider-Man trailer out, you're gonna hurt that movie. You know what I'm saying? You're not helping, right? And then here's the other thing. I forgot to mention this when we were talking about that. Holding your cards, we're in a multiverse. We know we're there, right? But if I give you a trailer, I'm gonna give you way too much. Right. I mean, at this point, you're gonna get way too much. Because you're gonna be able, all of us who got conspiracy theories, we're gonna be done or put the whole world together by the time we get to Spider-Man, and the plot of the movie is gonna be over with. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I think holding it as long as you can to where you're not getting any steals from it. Of course, people are shooting and letting certain things go. I think that's a good thing. And Dame had a great point too. I got to put this to Dame. At this point, the better time to release it is right before the movie. And the thing that's right before the movie is the Eternals. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's where I would do it. You got everybody hyped now. I got to go see the Eternals because the trailer's right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that, man, I think it adds to it. It adds to it. And that's why Carnage being out, I think is why we didn't get a Spider-Man trailer.
Let me ask y'all this. Now, this is going to get kind of messy. So Tom Holland, Spider-Man, his contract first and foremost is with Sony because that's their character. They still own Spider-Man. That's why they're making all of these Spider-Man movies with enemies in it.
Yeah.
Do you think that we will see Spider-Man as we know him in these villain movies? You know what I'm saying? Because that's the plan. They said they're going to continue making these villain movies. My mind says, how can you keep doing them without putting Spider-Man somewhere in the mix? It just doesn't make sense to me, man.
Well, I think that's why I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead, Mom.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let G take it. I think that's why you have a whole bunch of playing nice. I think this is Sony and Marvel playing nice. I think Marvel is like, I ain't finna give you the trailer to hurt your movie because of the simple fact that I need Spider-Man. I need Spider-Man to continue in this. Because really, if I was Kevin Feige, I'd be like, take him back. I got Miles Morales. You know what I'm saying? The money I could make off Miles Morales would be just remarkable. And the stories that we could connect Miles Morales to are endless. But, I'll let G, you go ahead with your take, G.
Well, I think that the No Way Home trailer and movie is what was like a tryout for maybe Tobey Maguire and the gentleman Tom Holland you're talking about. Because what happens if there's an issue where a contract comes up and they're unable to get that person locked in to do another role, right? Yeah, you build Miles Morales from a young man standpoint or a young character, Spider-Man, but you got to have a closure of the Spider-Man rendition that what we have. So it's easy just to write the guy off the show, bring the Spider-Man from the multiverse and bring him in, and then eventually wipe him out and let Miles Morales carry the mantle. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world because, like Maz said, and I believe Dane thinks this as well, Kevin Feige has hedged all his bets. He's got stuff on all ends and all sides just to give him an opportunity to make sure he's not backed up in a corner and have to deal with some foolery as far as an actor, right? The story has to go on. And that's the thing that I think that Marvel, people that watch our show, Marvel heads, comic book heads have to understand that, yes, we love the acting roles. And yes, that's part of the reason why we're drove to the movies to watch the actors. But it's the characters and it's the stories behind the characters that we want to see brought onto the big screen. Mm-hmm. So we can't be selfish and be locked in on this actor's doing that and that actor's doing that. No, let's just see Miles Morales Spider-Man. No, let's just see Scarlet Witch. No, let's just see Iron Man. And I really do think that's where Kevin Feige's headed. He's not locked into actors. He's locked into characters.
Yeah.
So let's build up the characters.
I'm just curious how far that IP goes because they own Spider-Man. So that makes you think any iteration of Spider-Man they actually own. So I'm just curious to see how far that IP extends. Does it end with Peter Parker? Because they own, like I said, they own Spider-Man. It don't matter who he is. They own, if you say Spider-Man, that's Sony. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to figure out how far that IP goes, where it's all Sony, part Marvel.
I don't know, but I was reading somewhere, Dame, that Miles Morales is different. I was reading that Miles Morales is all the MCU. You know what I'm saying? I'd have to know I'm like you. I'd have to know the ins and outs of that, but I was reading how Sony does not have control of Miles Morales as a character.
Yeah. Well, that'll make a lot of difference. But I will tell you this much. I know one thing. By the end of November going into December, we're going to have a whole lot of spins on a whole lot of characters. I can feel it. I can see it coming, man. Rebirth of characters.
Yeah, and Marcy Bryant was like, yes, that's why I'm recasting for T'Challa. He shouldn't die with Chadwick Boseman. Yeah. I think so, and I think there's going to be an interesting way that they do this, right? Here's another one of Ahmad's great theories, and let's see if it pans out. I think there is a portion, if you go back and you watch Black Panther, Marcy, you're a Black Panther fan, obviously. Go back and watch Black Panther. You'll see at the end when Killmonger kills over, you see Chadwick over the top of him. Now, where's another time where we see Chadwick over the top of somebody? I'll tell you, when he put a Kamoya bead inside of the agent and got him back to the table and sure he operated on him. Who's to say that we didn't put a Kamoya bead inside of Killmonger at that point, and Killmonger, who happens to be Michael B. Jordan, who happens to be the best friend of the director of Black Panther, who's to say that he's not going to be our new Black Panther?
Who happens to be completely silent these days, if you notice.
Oh, for real. For sure. For sure.
He's quiet.
Yeah.
Something's happening.
Michael B. Jordan's character has been recast for Black Panther 2. It's just on like the hush-hush, down-low secret type thing. Because if you notice, the titles that Feige wants to really get, he's not letting nothing drop about him. Like, I was shocked that we got that whole run about Namora actually being cast in Black Panther 2. When I heard that and I read it and I saw it, I was like, are you really telling me that we're going to get Prince Namor's little sister cast as a character in Black Panther 2? And y'all
Why not? Why
I'm
not?
saying you letting it go? I mean, like, wow. You know, and I saw a couple photo sets about Black Panther 2. So,
Big G, let me ask you a question. What's a way to make people forget about other stuff? You know what I'm saying? To make you forget about something else, I'll distract you. I'll throw something up here that's pretty big. Now you're not thinking about the stuff that I don't want you to think about. So, because these are things that you got to hold up. You know what I'm saying? And we've even had these rumors of my guy who played in Bridgerton coming into the MCU, right? So, I mean, there's some things that are happening on the real. You know, there's some things that are happening that he don't want us to see.
Here's my take on T'Challa, to go to Marcy's point. What I think is going to happen. See, we got to realize Chadwick has only been gone a year.
Right.
So the sting of that is still being, felt by people. I think it's going to be a few years before we actually get a real T'Challa that's actually recast, and it's beautiful because we got this whole multiverse thing. It could be a different T'Challa that we never knew existed before, but he's canon because of the multiverse. You know
and think about this. Big G said this, and I'm gonna tell you, Marcy, to your point. You said good point, but T'Challa has his own set of stories. I would love to see him like with Storm. There's an actor that has been casted that we think is actually gonna play Storm.
Correct.
And you could actually get their child inside of the MCU, right? Big G brought this theory to light, and if you can explain it again, Big G, so you know that Marcy could hear it.
Well, the issue could be is that they fast forward a little further than what we think, and it introduced the multiverse to support the fast forward, right? Because we're going to see, and whether you realize it or not, we're going to see an homage to not just Chadwick Boseman, but an homage to T'Challa, right? I saw some of the set photos already, and it said "All hail to the great king and our great leader," but it said it.
I saw those too.
And their language.
Saw that too. It said it in a different language going down. You're right.
Right. So I know that we're going to get homage, but I really do think if I had to bank on it and put some money on it, I think Michael B. Jordan is going to be creeping somewhere around. If it's not the Michael B. Jordan Killmonger character that was created for the bad, I think it might be the Michael B. Jordan Killmonger character that we're going to see in the What If series that Kevin Feige's already said is canon. You got to remember, in those trailers, we done already seen Killmonger save Tony Stark. We done already seen Killmonger running the border patrol and on that head rhino fighting for Wakanda. And Kevin Feige's already said that stuff's canon. So how could we maybe not get a Michael B. Jordan Killmonger character that comes over from one universe to another that now takes over and runs the mantle of Black Panther? And
we know he's in What If, right?
Right.
We know he's in What If.
Yeah, and now him and Storm link up, and there you go. Mm-hmm. There's your spin on it.
The other thing that Michaela Cole they just cast, and we don't know who she's playing. Somebody had a really good two instances that, number one, if you remember in the first Black Panther, we had a Dora Milaje that was murdered by Killmonger. So she could be, because she's bald-headed chick, beautiful bald-headed Black woman. Yeah. She could be that replacement, but have a bigger role. That's the first aspect. Or number two, which I thought was even more interesting, what if she's actually Killmonger's mother?
Could be.
She goes up there, y'all kill my son.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, I'm be honest with you. Killmother's manga, I think, is an American, and I don't think she'd be ready to go up there and get ready for. I mean, the Dora Milaje is something else. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can say what you want to say.
This woman she was an actual Black Panther from America.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because she would have had to be with the movement in order for him, because he was militant.
Yeah.
His father was militant, so she'd have had to be. So she could have been, good with guns or whatever. So we don't know. But honestly, if I was a betting man, I'm like Big G. This to me smells like Storm all the way to me. It smells like Aurora, and you're gonna get Aurora And I think, we'll be able to. That's why I think that with What If being canon, it's going to connect dots. You know what I mean? It's definitely going to connect dots. Thank you, Marcy. We appreciate that. She said that's why I love these shows. The theories are great. We appreciate that. Appreciate that. I mean, we spend enough time in the rabbit hole.
Appreciate you.
We spend enough time in the rabbit hole to give you some great theories. I mean, for real. Definitely. Big G never comes out. I have to pull him out. I got to pull him out. I got to pull him out for the betterment of his family. We got to pull him out the rabbit hole because he'll stay there for days upon days. But yeah, so as we're moving towards What If, man, and we're getting ready to kind of wrap up the show, you guys, I'm looking to see how they not only connect dots with What If, but how they fill in blanks, right? Because I think this is a perfect way to because remember, if y'all go back a couple of shows, I was like, man, what is What If? But it's a perfect way to actually fill in gaps, things that we didn't see before, to fill in those gaps. I got to give Dane a high five on this because we're Star Wars dudes as well, right?
Yeah.
And Dame had me go back and watch some of the Star Wars cartoons, and a lot of those cartoons filled in blanks of stuff that I was like, oh, okay, dang. But it's a good way to do it because you're not paying actors. You're paying voice actors, but you're not paying actors, and you're still getting that same type of canon material out to where people are able to take and say, oh, this is why this is this, this is why this is this. And they've already said, what if it's going to be canon, right? So a lot of the flips that you'll see may end up being reality.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, absolutely. I mean? You're absolutely right. That's exactly what's going to happen. They've already said that some of these characters that they're going to introduce in What If, you're going to see live iteration of these characters somewhere, maybe down the road. We don't know exactly where, but we're going to see some of these people. And one thing that makes What If incredible is that you got the actual voices of many of the main people. Sebastian Stan, you got the lady that plays Peggy Carter. You've got Chadwick. We're gonna actually hear Chadwick. You know what I'm saying? This
Chris
is
Evans. Chris Evans is gonna be on there.
Yep. This is Chadwick's actually official last bit of work that we're not gonna see him, but we're gonna hear him. And so I'm excited, man. The fact that Marvel even don't, and I think Ahmad said this last week, don't take it lightly because it's animated. No, it's gonna be some good stuff that they're gonna share and bring out, and it's gonna blow our mind. I mean, I don't know, did y'all see that clip that they released today?
Oh yeah, I watched it like 4 times.
That clip was off the chain, man. I was like, whoa.
They're getting me hyped. They're getting me hyped, definitely getting me hyped. But like I said, after going back watching Doctor Strange, there's so many things that are parallel that's kind of connecting dots to me already, And it's something about the fact that how Kevin Feige will wait and sit on things. He will sit on a character for years and pay off the idea maybe in like 5 to 10 movies later. And it's like one of those things where you're like, wait, okay, man, I never got it. You know what I mean? Go ahead, G.
Ma, check this out. What other way could they have spun up time on us and without having to break down a whole phase 4 explaining the multiverse? There was no other way to do it. I mean, the people, I don't think they have got the gist of introducing a character like Kang and what Kang actually does to the comic books, right? So if you got a cartoon that you can run a series show and you can spin a bunch of stories about Kang the Conqueror, because you better believe Kang is going to show up in that What If in some capacity. He's going to show up. So when he shows up, he spins the stories, and then now when we come back to the big screen and you got actors, hey man, I didn't spend 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 movies trying to lay out this backstory about the multiverse.
Did y'all see
one show?
Did y'all see the last trailer that they did for What If? They showed that. Remember that scene that we saw in Loki when everything started branching out?
Yeah.
They showed that exact scene in the trailer, and I'm like, oh, so they letting us know for real that this is straight up the multiverse that we saw unleashed I got hyped, man, when I saw that. I was like, wow.
And Marvelous Talk Land, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Thanos, if y'all thought Thanos was a booger bear, you finna really get it with King the Conqueror. You're gonna get the best villain that we've ever had in the MCU. He is a monster because you can erase one iteration of him and he'll come back some other way.
Dude, did y'all hear what the director of the Loki series said? So last week they did a whole bunch of interviews and they were talking about things being canon from Loki. Dude, they said that the whole Infinity Saga that we saw was all responsible because of Kang. He allowed it to happen. And I'm like,
yes, I saw the interview and I was like, yeah.
Well, I mean, Big G's been saying this he's been saying this all the whole time. I mean, the Ancient One is an agent of Kang. I mean, but you gotta get it. I mean, the reason why, like I said, when I said this last week, and when I spun my whole Doctor Strange theory out, you gotta understand the Ancient One was talking outside of her mouth several different times. How you say that it was a multiverse, and then you're gonna come back and say it's only one timeline? Wait a minute. Who are you? And why you keep telling these lies? Because obviously you taught Doctor Strange, you taught Stephen Strange about one time, the multiverse, and then now you're talking about one timeline. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Steve Rogers an agent too. I'm telling you, I called it.
I like that one. Big G.
Steve Rogers is the triple by triple ultimate triple, whatever you want to call triple agent, working for Kang or Nathan Richards or whoever you want to say. He working for him, man, because they already done laid it out. They said, I said in the last show, Kang, the character of Nathan Richards said that he done worked out and fixed it where you can stay in different timelines. Come on, man. They're already telling us what time it is as far as that what if being a spinoff. And like Dame said, and I'm telling you, I wouldn't be shocked like if the last show of the What If series goes directly into ShangChi. I would not be shocked at all. Listen, literally, man, like the show shows you directly to ShangChi.
You need to expect it, right? You need to expect it. They're not doing. We know Kevin Feige wastes nothing. So this is not a throwaway series. It's not. You know what I mean? So definitely it's going to lead. I believe it's going to have some tie-in to what we just saw with Black Widow. It's going to have some tie-in to Shang-Chi. And it's definitely going to have some tie-in to Loki. And like I said, Marcy said he's the ultimate villain. And she was also saying that's why she thinks that Kang let her have the time stone. I'm going to tell you, when it comes down to the Ancient One, I think we all knew she was shady at some point, right? But we thought she had to be some type of good because she employed Stephen Strange. But I think she became good in the end, right?
Yeah.
I think she had to play out her part because she was just like He Who Remains in the sense that I'm doing this for the sake of this timeline.
Yeah.
Right. He Who Remains was doing this for the sake of, we've already went through this war. We've already went through this battle. And all these other Kangs who are crazy, I killed them. I took them out. You know what I'm saying?
Check this out. Rabbit hole moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go back and watch Doctor Strange when the Ancient One crosses over. And she tells Stephen Strange, I don't know what's going to happen beyond this point.
Yep.
It was lightning and thundering.
Yeah.
Why was that the same thing that He Who Remains did? And why was that the same thing as Scarlet Witch when she ultimately became the Scarlet Witch and it was thundering and lightning and everything was cracking? Because the timeline was coming apart, man. So
and how do you not know? Story. How do you not know what happens after you've had the time stone? So you could have went. I mean, if Stephen Strange was able to go through and see all of these different endings, and there was only one,
14 million,
right? And there was only one where they won, right? If he was able to go through, you had the time stone for Millennium. So why is it that? I mean, they called you the Ancient One. You was ancient. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You old. We know you old. So how is it that you couldn't see past your own stuff? I understand. I go to the Matrix. Hold on.
Yeah,
I understand. We go to Matrix. You can't see past a decision you don't understand. Okay, I get it. I get all that whole philosophy to where I can't see past it if I don't understand it. But you had the time stone, bro.
Yeah. But if all the timelines laid on top of each other, it also supports the theory that she could pull from dark magic. They all laid on top of each other anyway. So she was not only pulling from dark magic, she was pulling from interdimensional magic. She was pulling stuff, and you don't even know what Kang gave her as far as technology that we never saw.
Oh, but gee,
Kang gave her something.
Remember how she got so mad about him reading these books,
Yeah,
these dark books, and then the other dude was reading the dark books, which means to me she read them.
Oh, yeah, of course she did.
Which means to me she read them.
But she might not have read them. She could have actually lived them. When you cut a deal with Kang, there ain't no telling. People need to go back, and I'm telling y'all. Like I said, y'all, and the show knows, the Marvelish Talk people know, I'm a comic book junkie, man. And if you go back and you read about Kang and you check out the different stories and renditions where he shows up in different people's books and see how sinister Kang the Conqueror actually is and how the Council of Kangs fight against each other to try to offset each other and start offing each other, and this one's got to live or that one's got to live. Come on, man. Come on, man. So this is all the way live rendition of the comic book coming to us on the big screen.
No doubt.
Absolutely. Well, parting shots, you guys. What do you think as far as the what if, because we got that in 7 days. What do you think that we're going to see in this first episode, Dane?
I think they're going to show the Captain Britain thing first. I think that's going to be the first one because that's the one that they dropped. If you get a chance, you guys might want to look at the Marvel YouTube channel. They just put a clip out of the first iteration of it's a short clip, but it'll get you really excited because there's somebody that's in that clip that they do a little different take on. So, but yeah, I think that the Captain Carter is going to be introduced first, and then we'll go from there. They're gonna go, I think, historically from the stuff that we've seen, and they're gonna flip it up. So that's what I think will happen.
G, what do you think we got coming forward? What do you think you're seeing?
The episode that I'm looking the most forward to is the one concerning, I don't know if it's going to be a spinoff into 2 shows, but you're going to see Killmonger save Tony Stark, and then you're going to see T'Challa become Star-Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So is that how they're going to cover the story of replacing Chadwick Boseman? Because T'Challa actually went to space and became Star-Lord, and did now Killmonger take the mantle of the Black Panther? That's when I watched the trailer, those are the 2 things I put together. And I was like, wait a minute, they showed the Killmonger save Stark, and then next thing you see him on a rhino, but then T'Challa's off in space and he's Star-Lord. So that means he couldn't have been on Earth representing the role of Black Panther. So who actually was the Panther?
It's interesting.
So that's when those episodes drop and I know that they're canon. Oh, I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go.
I'm definitely with you on that, man. Well, we've came to another end of the show here. If you like what you're seeing and you love the content, make sure you hit that like button and smash subscribe, please. Definitely, we're here for you and yours. And until you see us again on another Marvelous Wednesday, enjoy this on replay here on our YouTube or actually on our Facebook page. And we out, man. Y'all take care.